Now back to the show. This is The Law Show on CISL 650.
Welcome back. I'm Sterling Fox. In studio with me, Gordon Maynard, Rudy Kischer, and Alex Stojicevic, immigration and citizenship lawyers, Maynard, Kischer, Stojicevic in Vancouver, downtown on Hamilton Street, 1168, up there at Suite 500. I've saved perhaps the toughest category to the last when we have the least amount of time, but it's huge. Everybody in British Columbia knows about this. We got the Coast Guard ships going to be built somewhere by somebody in North Van. Christie just approved the Site C Dam a day or two ago. We've got a full go on the, well, no, we don't. We're still waiting on Petronas, the Malaysian company, and the LNG project, which we've understood from the get-go is going to involve hundreds, if not thousands, of foreign workers. So what do you immigration lawyers have to say about foreign workers in British Columbia? How does it work? If I'm going to operate a major, let's say the Coast Guard ships, I've got a shipyard in North Van, and I need workers because I just don't, well, there's nowhere near enough skilled workers in Canada to do this huge job. I got to bring people in from abroad. What do I do, Rudy? How does it work?
Well, I think the first thing you want to do is call a lawyer would be my advice.
I would think so.
You're going to be dealing with Service Canada, which is an extremely, the process is extreme. What I tell my clients when they call me, it is not business friendly. The job of Service Canada is really to keep foreign labor out to a degree, to make the assessment, to protect the Canadian labor market.
Okay.
Right? So if they're going to hire foreign workers, whether it's welders to work on these to work on the ships, or LNG specialist engineers to come in and work with that, you have to show that there is a shortage in Canada. So the employer is going to have to do some advertising. That'll take at least a month of advertising in different sources to show, listen, there are no Canadians willing to take these jobs.
So you have to address the skill,
or not enough.
Address the skill and post job offerings across the Canada in specific trade publications or whatever that would refer to that skill set.
Exactly, and you have to post the wages that are going to be paid, and the wages have to be the median wage. They got for that particular position, the job offered has to be getting paid the average wage for that type of position.
So what sort of evidence do you have to produce to these bureaucrats that there isn't a Canadian who can do this job? We absolutely need these people from afar.
Well, you've got to keep meticulous records of the advertising recruitment you've done. So, you know, if you've paid a headhunter, show that you paid the headhunter. If you posted the ads, keep copies of the ads, and then put that all together in a package showing these are what we've done in terms of trying to find Canadians. And also you have to have now, which is new, what's called a transition plan. So you've got to show not only are you can't find a Canadian now, but you've got programs in place to be able to stop your reliance on foreign workers. So are you training Canadians, right?
Okay.
You know, are you offering the foreign
workers? So it's
all
all about temporary then, isn't it?
The key word is temporary, and the government wants to see that you're sticking to that mandate that it is temporary.
Gordon, how temporary is a typical foreign worker's tenure in British Columbia?
Depends which set of rules you want to apply.
Oh, boy.
There's generally a 4-year rule.
Okay.
The general rule says that no foreign worker should work for more than 4 years in Canada.
Okay.
But there's a lot of exceptions to that rule.
All right.
It doesn't apply to all occupations. It doesn't apply to all categories of workers.
Alex, when a worker comes into Canada on one of these foreign 4-year permits, obviously they're delighted to be here. And they take one good long look around and go, now this would be kind of cool to stay and set up shop. I think I really want to game this to my advantage, so at the end of my 4 years, I don't have to go away. I can do something so I can stay here. Does that person stand a chance of fulfilling that wish? And what do they have to do?
Well, they do actually. The system has really, in the last few years, been designed around giving those people opportunities in certain areas and under certain conditions. For example, if you don't speak English, it's very difficult to turn any of a particularly lower skilled category into permanent residence.
Okay. Yeah.
Often you need the employer's support. In our provincial nomination system, that's employer driven. The employer says, hey, this guy's critical to my business. Nominate him, province of British Columbia, select him for permanent residence.
Okay. And so it can be done out of Victoria.
It can be done out of, well, it's an office in Vancouver, but you're right. It is the government of British Columbia.
Right, okay.
So the challenge, though, that is coming forward now, Stirling, is that you have rules that were just changed in June to make getting foreign labor harder, not easier, right at the same time that BC has announced 3 massive programs, all 3 of which will require tons of labor.
Yes.
2 in places where we don't generally have a lot of labor available, and a third in a place where we might have lots of labor, but not the skilled labor that knows how to build, radar systems on cutting edge naval ships.
Right.
So what do we do? I mean, Petronas, when it came up with its offer, wanted to be able to bring in hundreds and hundreds of foreign workers.
I remember that, sure.
And I mean, many other employers are going to want the same thing. And that's where they're going to run into these changes that are designed to make it more difficult, not easier, right at a time when demand is sky high.
The one thing that I've come to understand in the past hour of conversation, gentlemen, is without any exception, if there is an immigration confusion in your life at the moment that is affecting you directly or perhaps someone close to you, it's probably time you picked up a phone and called a lawyer. Right, Rudy? It's so complicated now that an average civilian off the street doesn't stand a chance.
I think it's behooves anybody who's dealing with the immigration department to at least get a consultation done where you have a chance to sort of make sure that you're on the right path, if not hiring somebody for the entire process.
604-632-0188 is the number for our friends at Maynard, Kischer, Stojicevic. They would be happy to take your call. They're online, by the way, at vancouverlaw.ca. The contact points for Rudy and Alex and Gordon are all on the website, and all sorts of great information there as well. Gentlemen, we're fresh out of time. Thank you so much for this. Merry Christmas. It's just a few days away.
Merry Christmas, and thanks for having us.
Merry Christmas, Stirling. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for Red Robinson next.